Alright, what's up guys? JaretCampisi coming back at you with another track and field video. Today it's about negative 18 million degrees outside, so we're not going to be outside, plus there's no need for this video. Today we're going to be talking about shin splints. What are they? How do you prevent them? And what do you do if you actually get them? Okay, so I think this is going to be a very helpful video. Stay tuned.
Gotta know that nothing lasts forever.
Okay, so first off, we need to talk about what are shin splints, because I think people misunderstand what they are. Shin splints is actually a term for a very specific thing. That's when you have little tiny micro breaks in your shin bone. That's what a shin splint is, okay? But we use shin splints very broadly as a term to describe like pretty much any pain that's happening in or around your shins, okay? Basically what happens is when you're running and constantly pounding on the ground, you know, your shin bone, your ankle, your feet, your muscles are all taking the brunt of those forces when you're running constantly, okay? So what happens is usually it'll start out as little tiny tears in your muscles, right? Those muscle tears can cause pain, but some muscle tearing is normal, like when you're breaking down your muscles at the gym and they repair, you're causing little tiny micro tears in the muscle that rebuild and make them stronger. When your muscle can't handle the pounding or overuse kind of happens, then those tears can get larger and get more drastic. And that's when you'll start to have pain. And usually it starts out as some sort of muscle pain. And there's a couple of muscles. There's the one that runs down the front of your shin. There's ones that are inside, behind your shin and stuff like that. And they're all kind of in the same area. But normally people feel shin splints in that front shin or shin muscle and shin bone, okay? So what happens is once your shin muscle can no longer handle the impact anymore, then it'll stop. It'll basically transfer onto your shin bone. And that's when you can start to get little micro breaks in your shin bone. Now some of that stuff happens all the time. Just like your muscles have micro tears and they rebuild, the same thing with your bones. Your bones are constantly being beat up and they regrow. But if you have constant running all the time for months and months and months, they can actually turn into fractures. And so depending on how intense they are, you're gonna have a lot of pain. Sometimes you have to stop running completely, and a lot of different things happen, okay? So that's basically what I think when you hear the term shin splints, it's a very specific term that's describing a lot of different things that could be happening around basically from your knee down, okay? What causes them, okay? So that we talked about a little bit about what they are, what can cause them, okay? Basically, usually it happens from a couple of different things. Usually it's some sort of muscle imbalance. So the back of your leg, I'll show you my beautiful calf. The back of your leg obviously has this huge muscle here, that's your calf, and it has the Achilles tendon, which is a lot stronger and more resilient than the front of your leg, okay? So what happens is when you're constantly running and all that, this part of your leg can handle a lot of stress and a lot of pounding, but the front of your leg usually doesn't have as much muscle. Now, I'm actually lucky because I do have a pretty solid shin muscle here. You can see that puppy. And that's probably one of the reasons why I never had shin splint issues. Now, I think someone in my junior year, I did have a little bit of some issue in my shins. So what can you do? So I do know how painful it is, but it only lasted for a couple of weeks and it went away, thank God. So that's basically what causes you to get shin splints, okay? It's usually some sort of muscle imbalance or like a flexibility issue or just overuse. Maybe you're not wearing correct shoes, they're not padded enough, or you're not striking the ground correctly, your running form's incorrect, something like that. So what you can do to prevent them is stay on soft surfaces, okay? We used to warm up at Penn State on our turf area. Every day we would warm up and cool down on turf. And we would stay either in our flats, like a nice pair of running flats, running shoes, or we would just be in our socks or something like that, okay? But that's one thing that you can do, stay off of hard surfaces as much as possible. Also, you can not wear your spikes as much. You really only need to be wearing your spikes when you're doing very technical work or like very high speed workouts, okay? So I know it's awesome to wear your spikes because they feel so light and you feel so fast and it makes you feel good, but it can actually be detrimental, especially if you're a hurdler or a jumper or any type of, I mean, even just the sprints, doing block starts, doing constant pounding on the ground, and there's not really much padding in spikes, so your leg is left to take the brunt of that forces, and over time, it's gonna cause issues, okay? Another thing that you can do is something called ABCs, okay? So these are preventative measures. So what you really wanna do is you wanna strengthen that front of your leg, okay? So what we used to do is we would sit on the ground or sit on some sort of whatever you wanna do with it, and you just go through the entire alphabet. So A, B, C, D, and you get the idea, and just go through that at night. At night, in the morning, whenever you have time to go through it, because it's really gonna just help strengthen all of the muscles there, especially the ones in the front. The other thing you can do, teens, put it down here, you can do partner stretches where someone sits there and holds your foot back and you pull against it like this. And you do sets of 10 to 20 reps, and you do like, I don't know, 3 to 5 sets of that or something like that, a couple times a week, every day, depending on how weak your shins are, how bad your muscle imbalance is, things like that, okay? So those are some preventative things that you can do. It's funny, I was talking to my high school coach 2 days ago, and I asked him about shin splints. I said, you know, what do you do to treat shin splints? And he said, don't get them. And he's pretty much right. When it comes to treating shin splints, it's really more of you really want to prevent them, okay? So the most important things you can do are the things that we just talked about, which is, like I said, staying on soft surfaces, wearing correct running shoes, staying out of your spikes unless you absolutely have to be in them, doing things like this to strengthen your spikes, elevating and icing your legs after practice. You can get your shins wraps. There's all kinds of things you can try and do to help prevent them, and that's really the best treatment for shin splints. Is to prevent them. Once you get them, like as soon as you start to feel that pain down there, you really want to adjust what you're doing. So obviously something is happening down there, so go see your trainer, tell your coach, and you know, like I said, try to get better running shoes, try to start strengthening the area down there. Sometimes you just have to back off on your workouts, or even not do them, take a couple of days off. And like I said, you really got to stay on top of them because there really isn't much you can do to treat them. And that's really the bottom line. Another thing that is actually not talked about when it comes to shin splints is how heavy you are. So I was really, really light. I was like 155 pounds all through college running. And basically the lighter you are, the less chance you're gonna have of getting them because it's gonna reduce the pounding on your body, you know? So the lighter you are, the less force you're gonna have to absorb, the less force you're gonna be hitting the ground with, and all that stuff is gonna help go to preventing shin splints. So, you know, we talk about it all the time, strength to weight ratio. I was super lightweight and very strong and very flexible. And I think all of those things will go into keeping not only your shins healthy, but also just keeping you healthy as an athlete. So, you know, Arnold used to say, if it jiggles, it's fat. Anything that you're carrying around the track that's not muscle isn't helping you run faster. So I'm not telling you to go starve yourself or anything like that, but, you know, being shredded as a track athlete is going to be very beneficial. So if you need help with diets or anything like that, you know, drop a comment below or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to help. So I think that's it. Everything related to shin splints. If you guys have questions or comments, drop them down below. If you have remedies or anything like that you want to share, put them in the comments section. And I think that's about it. Christina, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm just trying to keep the dog from snoring.
She keeps moving around trying to keep Sadie from snoring. But yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully that sheds some light on what shin splints are, what you can do to prevent them, and what you can do, the little minimal things you can do to treat them. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click that damn bell button so you get notifications when we're putting up videos. And I think that is all. I'll also be working on a 200-400 program, so stay tuned. And that's it. See you guys in the next one.
You snore monster. Oh my god.
Couldn't stay awake for 5
She couldn't. She just had to snore away.
God, I want to die.